Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Fly Time Thursday, presented by Flatwater Fly Fishers. I'm John Wright, and tonight we have a very special guest with us. Gretchen Beatty from Boise, Idaho are here tonight. Gretchen is going to be tying for us tonight, and I believe, Gretchen, it's the green trude. Is that right?
Yeah, Lime Trude.
Lime trude. That's right.
Lime
Sorry
Trude.
about that.
Yeah. There it is, right there.
Yep. Alan and Gretchen have been great supporters of not only Healing Waters, but all veterans programs, not only here in Omaha, but around the country. Gretchen was named the Federation of Fly Fishers Women of the Year in 2001. She is a recipient of the Fly Fishers International Buzz Music Award, and she and Al were recently awarded the Federation of Fly Fishers Award of Distinction for their years of service and contributions to FFI and the promotion of fly fishing. In addition to that, Al and Gretchen just last week were awarded the Dick Nelson Teaching Award by FFI. So Al and Gretchen write books and tie flies and teach flies and do a whole bunch of things. So they are indeed royalty in the fly tying world. And it is my great pleasure to introduce them to you tonight. So Al and Gretchen, go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you. Yeah, there we go. I removed my spotlight and the device is yours.
Well, thank you, John. Tonight I'm going to be just tying one of my favorite flies. It's a Lime Trude, as he said, which is a hair wing fly. And we like to use it on some of our waters here in Idaho for cutthroat is what I really like to on the lock saw. Any kind of a stimulator or a Lime Trude works really good in that environment. And the water has got enough churn to it that you need something that does float pretty good. And so that's the reason we use those two flies. And they have the right color for the environment if you go by LaFontaine's theory of attraction, which says the ambient color of the environment, which in that case is forest, should be some of the color that you have on your fly. And the one thing you don't want is something that's opposite on the color wheel, which would be red. So we go with something like this. So let's get started. I'm going to tie this in a size 10 dry fly, 1XL. And I'm going to start out, it says thread, but I'm actually using stretchy nylon, or what's the other name for it? Stretch.
It's Danville nylon stretch or uni stretch.
Uni stretch, that's what I was thinking of. Tail mousse. The rib is going to be fine wire. The body will be the stretchy floss. Then at that point, I'll change to black thread and tie on my peacock herl, calf tail, brown hackle, and the black thread for the head. So as you can see, I've got my materials over here. Let's talk a little bit about the calf tail. So two ways that I tie this. One would be with poly yarn, works really good, or calf tail. The thing to remember about calf tail is you do not want to take the material from up here, because as you can see, it's kind of curly. Down here, you've got some nice, straight, good-looking fibers. The other thing about calf tail is you can see there's some short stuff in here. And although it looks the same, it's not the same. So you want to only take about the top, the longest two strands and get rid of the rest of it. Other than that, we can talk about the mousse. This is just a really good piece of mousse, nice and straight. Like to use mousse, particularly when I'm teaching someone who's fairly new to hair. Mousse seems to not compact as much as, let's say, deer and elk. Therefore, it doesn't flare as much for the tail. So we'll be using some mousse. A secondary thing that you can use is a makeup brush. This makeup brush is black. And if you'll take a look at the fly in the vise, that's what I used for that tail, was the black. And we started doing this thanks to Paul. Paul got us started on this. So we'll go ahead and get started with our size 10 hook.
You want me to get one of the vise for you there, Gretchen?
Get one in the vise for me. I'm tying on Al's vise. I have trouble. It's a little stronger than my hands can function. So I have him put the,
There you go.
okay. All right, let's get started with a base wrap. And I want to start at about the 1/3 point, leaving enough room in the front for my wing and my hackle. As you can see, this goes on nice and smooth. Now, I want the tail to end about here. So as you can see, I'm about 2 wraps. See, if I went here, I'm about 2 wraps back. Because once I trim those ends, then I'm going to have to go over them and I will be right where I intended to be. So come over here to the materials, cutting the materials off. Put the scissors down tight against the hide and bring up the amount that I want and then clip really close. As you can see, I've got some stuff in there I don't want, so I'll come over here to the, oh, I'm not going to do it there because I don't want to mess up Al's camera, so I'll come over here and get rid of that stuff. Let's stack it so that the tips will be even. Where you cut it off, it will be flat. Therefore, that is the easiest place to put it into the stacker rather than here where it's all uneven. So we'll just stack that a little bit and always take it out of the stacker, the direction that you're going to put it on the hook. I spy a broken one. Take a quick look here. I need to get my magnifiers down. Yes, there's a little broken tip. Got him. Okay, I want the tail to be the length of the shank, so I just use my shank as my measurement, set it in place. I will hold it away from the hook towards me so that thread torque will set it right up on the top. Now, as I do this, I'm realizing I should have put in my wire. So let's get some wire. Probably should have done that first, but I was so excited to use the hair, I forgot. So
Gretchen, as you wrap that on, are you putting tension on that stretchy uni stretch?
yes,
Okay.
I am, because that, well, a moderate amount of tension. If you put too much on, it makes it too thin. So So just a moderate amount, I would say, is the best way to describe it. I'm going to hold this wire in the back and let my thread torque bring it underneath. So there we go. I should have put that on first, but I think I saved myself there. And I want to keep those wraps close, so it will look more like floss. And I'm going to cut this at a fairly severe angle. As you can see, it's kind of beveled now, and that'll make the transition easier. There we go. I'm going to bring my wire clear down to here, although it won't show that far, but it just is easier to tie it off that way. So even wraps. That's a little far here. There we go. Try to guess the distance I want. Well, Gretchen. For some reason, there we go. That didn't want to go where I wanted it to. All right. Now I'm going to take a couple of wraps around my floss and tie it off. There we go. And I don't helicopter my. You saw me do that,
I
didn't
did,
you?
I couldn't holler soon enough. Yeah, let me put a clip on that so it doesn't get away from you. You can,
Okay.
you wanna, have you got it, do you need to get it rethreaded or you got it?
Well, I think maybe what I will do at this point is just go ahead with the black, because this is about the time I would go to black anyway.
Oh, well
So I
planned transfer.
And that I did that on purpose, huh?
Yeah, you sure could.
Nice recovery.
Everybody cuts their thread now and then. I just don't like doing it on a program, but oh well. There we go. See if I can keep from doing that again. See if I can clean up my mess here a little bit. You know, I don't like the way that's looking at all. Do you mind if I kind of back up here a little bit?
Do it over and you can always stick a different tail on the you got there and show them how the makeup brush works.
I could do that, couldn't I?
Yeah, you want to just, I'll pull out another hook for you instead of going to all that trouble to take that stuff off.
Well,
You're not going to be able to use any of the material anyway.
that's true. Let's just do
So-
another hook.
You go over there to the materials area and get that brush and I'll put another hook in the vise for you.
Okay.
I have a
There you go.
materials question.
Yeah.
In the book Hairwing Flies, you mentioned the use of talcum powder.
I think Al, you need to speak to that.
Yeah, it's just talcum powder, especially on calf tails, but you can do it on some other things, but mostly calf tails. It sure makes the hair stack better. But then
Okay,
you do
thank you.
that, but you do that after you've washed the hair and dried it.
Okay, thank you.
Our calf tail does not have talcum powder on it. So just so you know.
Just one of the things that we did over the years, and as the years have come and gone, we stopped doing some of those things.
Well, when we started, some of that stuff we did more when we weren't tying commercially. Once you start tying commercially, some of the stuff that you used to do to make things easier no longer become efficient way to work. It's the best I can say. I'm going to add my wire at the right time now. So it just, you do as few things to your materials you can to make them work right. Would you agree with me?
Pretty close.
Okay, let's try it with this just for fun. One of the things that's great about this, you take a look at it, I don't have to stack it. I don't have to do anything. I just cut it off.
No crap to clean out of it. It's just ready to go on
It's
the
ready to
hook.
go. I just have to be sure I don't have too much. I'm going to do a twist over and take a look. It should be about as wide, or as the round should be about the same
Your
circumference
scissors
as
are
the
blocked.
outside.
Your scissors are blocking.
Oh, the outside diameter of the hook eye. And that's a little too much, so I'm going to take just a little bit more out of there. Okay, that's better. And there again, the same length. We want it to be the length of the shank. We'll measure it.
Gretchen, does that stretchy nylon have a tendency to have more thread torque than regular thread, you think?
Maybe because it's wider.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it might. Yeah.
So probably about the same as a 70 denier uni thread that's unwound, flattened.
Oh yeah, when the flat nylon wax type stuff.
That sure makes a nice smooth body without a whole lot of work, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. In fact, I watched from the last Friday one, I went out and I bought several spools of it for some flies I want to tie. So it does do a nice body.
Yeah, I love it. And you you don't have to have your thread and then your floss, and it's just all one motion, and
Yeah,
makes life a lot easier.
yeah,
I'm gonna
surprisingly, several of the YouTube channels I've watched in the last 2 weeks, they all started using the stretchy nylon. So looks like a
Yeah.
good thing has been spread.
Yeah, we found this stuff at a Bernina sewing shop.
About 30 years ago.
It was more than that. Time flies by.
Oh, geez. Well, anyway, 30 plus years ago.
Yeah.
My wife has hundreds of feet of this because she uses it with her Bernina or her baby lock.
Yeah. I've tried to embroider on my machine with it, and I don't know, maybe I should talk to your wife. I don't have very good luck with it.
Maybe you get the wrong needles because it sure snarls bad.
She does a lot with seaming and other stuff with it, but you can definitely ask her. Just
I'll have to
ding her and see what she's got to say. She doesn't do much embroidery, but she does a lot of sewing work. She makes a lot of my sweaters and everything else, and that stuff seems to work out well.
And my brother and his wife have an embroidery business down in Florida. I'll ask them if they use stretchy nylon.
Yeah, now I wonder, the commercial machine might be a little different. That is a much better looking fly than the first one I started out with. So I'm glad I'm where I am. So now I need to do some peacock. So we'll just come over here and get a single strand of peacock. We'll talk a little bit about peacock. The story begins when we were tying commercial and we had an order that required ostrich. And so we decided that I would do that fly. Trouble was, is I'd never tied with ostrich before. And I could not get it to go on right. And it took me a day to figure out how to get that stuff to work right. And what I've learned with ostrich applies also to peacock. So I'm going to just tie this on. Now, what I want is for the stem to be facing forward towards the eye. Now, it's going to go on just perfect, but if it weren't going to be perfect, I would try twisting it around. Now you see I've got it going backwards. Now twist it around this way and it'll go forward. So you can change the direction of it to get it to go the right way, the way that you want it to go. So I just like it to cut forward for some reason. I think it's because I like the way it looks right there. Okay. Any questions so far? We're good? Okay, let's do the half tail now. Well, we've got lots of time, so let's talk about the poly first, and then we'll do the calf tail. Poly yarn, when you get it, is kind of gnarly. It's all twisted and knotted together. So I just take a bodkin and run it through it like this, and that takes all those knots out. Now, the problem that you have with poly is that it doesn't compress. So when I tie it on here, that's way too much. When I tie it on, I'm going to have a big cliff to go over. So what I like to do is we'll take a little bit off of here and I'll just show you what I do. Take a little bit of it. And I want it to go about halfway out to the tail. And I'll tie it on pretty close to the peacock. Trim it off. Now I'm going to take another little clump of it. Tie it on. I'm going to bring this clear out. So now I've got a smoother base for my hackle to go on.
She managed the waist so that she has a tapered hackle platform.
Yeah. So that's what I do when I'm tying with the poly. Now the calf tail is different in that it will compress. So I can make it smoother without tying it in two clumps. So let's go back to here. We'll go over here and get some calf tail. Calf tail I take off a little different than I do other hair. I pull it out because I can get it pulled like this away from, and I'm trying to keep it in the camera. There we go. And I can get it pretty close. So I'm going to take it over to the trash can over here and clean out a whole bunch of that. When I do that, I'm going to hold on way out here so that the stuff I want to get rid of is not under my thumb and forefinger. And I'll just run my finger through that. Now, I'm going to come back and show you that this looks totally different here now. See, all that stuff is gone. So I've just got the stuff that I want left. We're here to the stacker. If you leave all of that short stuff in, it's very difficult to stack. It just doesn't slide and slip like it should. But I find if you're using just the tallest, the longest lengths, not tallest, longest lengths, you can get it to stack. So I think that stacked pretty good. We've got a wild one there. And I think that looks a little heavy. Let me get rid of some of that. Twist over point, that looks good. There's a short one that didn't get rid of. Now I want it to come about halfway back to the tail. And again, I'm going to hold it above and to the side, do a finger thumb tuck, thumb down on it, tighten it. Trim off the waist. And I've got a fairly easy platform to work with. Now, as you can see, my wing is fairly far down, and I want it at just a little higher angle. So I'm going to come over here to what we call the pull point. Wrap it around. Come back to the pull point. It looks to me like it's over a little bit. There we go. That's better. So I've got it at a higher angle. And that's usually, and I do that because I want the body to show for sure, for sure. So now it's time for hackle. Fortunate to have a really nice size 10 hackle here. We'll clear off some fibers. Now I've done it even, but what I really want is for
Your off-screen, you'd be better in front of the mouse.
better over here. Okay.
Yeah, that way they can see
I
it
thought
better.
it'd be better over there. Huh? I want it to have a few more on the leading edge, I guess is the best way to describe this. So I'm going to take a few more fibers off of this leading edge. And that allows it to lay straight up rather than sticking back. So, oh, you know what? I had that turned the wrong way. I'm going to have to. Okay, there we go. So I hold this just at an angle. Come in here and clip off the excess. And now I'm going to bring my thread right back here, tight against this hackle. And that also helps the hackle from sliding down the slope here. Because the tension of the, again, if I just went like this, my hackle would be facing the way I don't want it to. Take a look and you see the rachis is leading. I don't want the rachis to leading. So I'm going to bring it forward, around, and up, and then down. I'll do that one more time. There we go. Now I've got it pointing the direction that I want, and I can start wrapping my hackle. For some reason, I've got some sticking forward. I don't like that. Let's back this up a little bit here. There we go. That's looking good. Several ways we can do this when we get to the end. And my favorite way is just to take 2 wraps over the hackle, dress it back tight, and do a dam wrap, or whatever you call it. Anyway,
Put dog leg in the hackle.
yeah, dog leg it. I'm dog legging it back into itself. And then I pull it out and trim it. And that butt end goes right back into the hackle. I've got a wild one here. Let's trim him. Now we're going to do a proper whip finish, which means I start my wraps right there and wrap forward. I like to use a whip finish tool because I can place the wraps just where I want them. Additionally, I find as my hands have gotten old and tired and overused, I find the hand whip finish is more difficult to do. Want to draw attention to our O-ring. When I'm done, I just pull the O-ring off, put it back on, catching the thread, and that way I don't come unthreaded. There is a Lime Trude. Any questions?
Got some here. Let's see what they say.
Beautiful fly, Gretchen.
Thank you.
Do you ever fish it wet, Mike? What Kelly wants to know. Do you ever fish it wet?
Oh, no, I don't. I don't. Do you?
Yeah, all the time.
I don't think I do. I think I always just float it on the surface, do a kind of a dead drift, and then I do retrieve it, and it kind of goes a little subsurface in.
Yeah. The way I fish it is a dead drift, and then there are times I just let it swing on downstream from me, come across current and hang directly downstream from me, and do not pick it up and recast it right away. Let it hang there for 10 seconds. And then before you recast it, ease out about three or four more feet of fly line and let it drop downstream about 4 feet.
No wonder you
Boom.
catch more fish than I do.
Well, I'm letting out some of my secrets now that I haven't let out to you all the time. You have to understand, back in the day, running the drift boat down the river together on my days off when I wasn't guiding, we'd take turns rowing and fishing, one in the front with the fishing rod and one on the oars. And you catch 2 fish, and it's your turn to row. God, this one day I was like, Jesus Christ, she's losing a lot of fish. And if you don't get 2 fish to the boat, you
Keep fishing.
you just keep fishing until you get 2 fish to the boat, then you switch and get on the oars. And I wasn't paying a lot of attention. And all of a sudden I caught her, and she'd get those fish about halfway to the boat, and she'd pull some slack in and throw a roll cast at him, and about half of them would come off. Well, she was getting the fun of catching the fish, and I was getting the fun of rowing the boat. We corrected that difference.
I just did it to see how long it would take him to figure it out. And that was the day when it was a Mother's Day caddis hatch. We had fish after fish after fish. So yeah. Okay, what do you use as you mentioned? Oh, my hand strength. Yeah. I have an old dam vise of mine that I use, but additionally, a lot of the Griffin vices have the same closer, and I can use those.
I'll show you what we mean here. That's the Dan vise, And as you can see, there's a cam lever at the bottom of the jaws if you want to reach up there and work. Let me get that thing out of there. Got rid of it. Now, what you do is you close the cam lever to put a hook in the vise.
And it holds the hook really good.
Holds the hook incredibly good. And there's several other vices in the market that do the same thing.
That new one I've got, the Nirvana
Yeah.
from Moon.
Oh yeah, the Nirvana from Moonbeam.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
that too, and I can use that. And that I love that little vise. I love tying on it. I always travel with it because it's so small and
Yeah.
light. It holds a hook. It's easy on my hands. The one thing you don't want is what's that one that I had there?
That's
Regal.
a Renegade. Oh yeah,
Regal
the
vise.
Regal. Oh
Do you
my
know
God.
a Regal? I tied for when I first started tying on a Regal, and it just killed my hand.
Yeah.
You know,
We
if
had
you
problems
tie,
with our vets with the Regal too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you tie just a few flies a day, it don't make any difference. But
Yeah.
if you're our goal during our tying season when we were at the vise in our Bozeman years was 10 dozen each, 10 dozen flies a day. And you open and close that darn vise that many times in a day, and I'll tell you what, your hand just aches.
Is there anything else anybody would like me to do on my tie? Any tricks that you'd like to see, or anything you'd like me to show again? Or
Speak up.
no, I guess I'm done awfully soon, aren't I?
I think one of your favorite flies is a Renegade. Do you have the stuff handy to do a Renegade the way that you do it?
You will if you'll let me get over there and I'll put a hook in the vise for you. I'll get stuff.
Okay.
You're gonna need
Hand me the materials as I need to
you're
put.
gonna need something for a tag.
Yeah, I need red.
Let's say let's do a green tag so because it's one we're going to use up north.
A tag.
That thing right there.
I thought it had a tail. I can't remember.
Renegade has a white hackle or brown hackle in the back, white in the front,
Yeah.
peacock body, no tail. It has a tag of either.
It's a hackle.
It's
But
the back.
I don't think I usually put a tag on them,
Oh,
but I will.
just a minute. Let me get switched over here. All right, you're putting the tag at the back, and we're just going to do a green one because it's going to be in the alpine forest up north.
Okay.
And I will find a white hackle for you to see. That's a 10.
So I need the brown hackle in the back here.
You've already got one of those.
Yeah. And you don't do it too heavy. So let me get a.
Gretchen, if you wouldn't mind, would you tell us why you split those fibers off the top of that hook like that, or the feather like that?
Yeah, well, I'll show you as a matter of fact. If I don't, okay, now I've got them even. So I'm going to tie this hackle on. Let's see, go back here a little ways. So often what happens is,
See how those fibers splay out all over the place?
they're all futzy going all directions. So then if on the other hand, if I take some off the top, and tie it on. Let's see here. I don't get them splayed all over. See the difference?
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
You need to wrap back just a little bit further on the hook if that's the fly.
Oh, yeah, I know, that's not the fly.
Yeah, gotcha.
In fact, I've got to get some of this off. Okay, now I'm going to get out my black thread. Now, do you want me just to tie regular peacock, or you want me to do something fancy with it, Al?
No, just the regular peacock. We don't want to give away
Okay.
all of our secrets.
Okay.
At least not in all of one fell swoop. I mean, when you only do 3 things and you got to show people 50 ways to do it, you run out of stuff pretty doggone quick.
That's plenty, I think.
Gretchen started fishing this fly as a young girl when her dad would carry her across the stream on his shoulder and then rig her up with a Renegade or a royal coachman with just a piece of leader and a willow twig or willow stick, and that's how she started fishing that.
And the flies looked a lot different than what we tied today.
Oh yeah. Let's see, you're getting some peacock and you've already got the brown hackle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, you need white hackle, and
Hackle.
I
Did
got
you
some of
get
that
this?
for you.
Oh, okay.
And I just dropped it on the floor. Well, I'll go get another one.
We've got I'm doing 2 hackles because it's a little longer and I'm not sure that I'm going to get where I need to be. Size 10 seems big to me now in a Renegade, and as I think we were probably fishing 10s and 8s, maybe
Yeah.
an occasional 12.
Could you
Whoops.
switch cameras? There you go.
Uh-oh.
I was busy getting feathers for her. I'm sorry, guys.
Yep. No problem.
Thanks, Mike, for the reminder.
I like to put a wire on it sometimes, which I didn't do this time. Do you think I need 2 of them?
No, I just handed you 2 in case you drop one in the trash like I always do.
I don't know if you noticed, but my phone was ringing. Okay.
And notice that it shows up really good there where she stripped off on the leading edge more than on the trailing edge.
My dad tied flies, and he used a rotary machine. Whoops, I probably tied that on a little tight.
Yeah, but his rotary was a little different than what I think most people think of that are here tonight.
Yeah, it was a sewing machine converted
Yeah.
to a,
Yeah.
and they had great big clunky heads on them. And a few years ago, when we were in Bozeman, he came to visit. And we went fishing, and we said, "Here, Dad, here's some flies." He said, "No, I brought my own flies." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Well, he got fish with those
It
big.
kicked our butts. we're out there fishing 14s and 16 Renegades, and he's swinging a number 8 Renegade and just pounding them. So who knows?
There we go. Not a pretty fly, but it's a good fishing fly. But I do like a rib on it, and I didn't put a rib on this. And sometimes we actually will make a dubbing loop and do it that way too. But that's the original, except with no tag. I don't.
The tag had, the original one had a tinsel tag, and
Gold. Gold.
hello.
Was it gold tag?
I can't remember. It seems to me it was gold, but we always use that double-sided stuff, and it could go either way depending on what the customer asked for. I'll be honest with you, I don't remember. And we were always tied ours based on the LaFontaine theory of attraction, and depending on what river we're fishing is what the tag looks like.
So Al, I need to ask you on the LaFontaine theory, how much of the fly do you need to add that to match the surroundings?
Pretty much the body.
The body?
Yeah, that's all you need. It's just if you ever take a look at take a red piece of red
Yeah.
material and hold green in front of it, it just kind of disappears.
Yeah.
And so that's the idea, is if you've got red bluffs around and you tie a green fly, the fish just don't see it as well. They see it, but not as well.
Okay.
And I need
So if I'm fishing in an area with say late fall and all the leaves are still in the tree, but they're all brown and everything on the ground is brown, then I want to be tying or fishing with a brown body.
well,
There's that. Also, another thing, we ran into this a lot in Colorado when fishing the Gunnison, which was a really desert environment. And in a canyon, it was a rusty, grayish, orangish colored canyon walls. And if you had that orangish, reddish color in your fly, you were fishing until a side stream comes in. You're wading down the Gunnison, casting flies, having a good time. And you see a nice little spring creek coming in from the side. And so you decide to go up in there and start fishing. And of course, that's overhanging branches of willow and all that stuff. You just entered a new environment. It's just
still thinking about the brown. There's brown and then there's brown. And there's no brown really on the color wheel, because brown can be red and green, it can be red and blue, it can be red and so I would take a look at the overall environment as much as I would
Okay.
and also in the fall when the light is lower, that's when I really like Antron.
Okay.
So I would it just gives you a little light that you're not getting naturally.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I have found. I don't like Antron on a really bright day, but on a more subtle light, I like Antron, and I find that in the fall.
You mean in your
The other thing-
dubbing or your,
Yes. When you're dubbing.
Okay.
Or if you're not using dubbing, you can put a little Antron. Well, you don't have that kind of, well, yeah, you do in like the Zelon and some of that stuff. If you have some of that Antron that's not in yarn, you could just put a couple fibers of that in the tail, in the wing, and it just will glisten and attract the fish. But mostly in the dubbing.
Okay.
Of course, the sparkle pupa has it in the shuck that goes around over it, the bubble. When you're tying that bubble too on the sparkle pupa, I always, you know how you have the bubble that comes over? I always leave a couple of those fibers hanging out the back. And I don't know that the recipe tells you to do that. I don't
Like
think
a
so.
The
trailing
recipe,
chuck.
today's recipe don't, but in an original book, and the original ones Gary did, they did, yeah.
So it'd be kind of like a trailing shuck.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Mhm.
exactly. Exactly, yeah. Well, I don't have anything else. Unless somebody has something else.
I will show you one thing that I learned from a guy in California I have never seen before. I've never done this before. You might see a train wreck. That's all I can tell you.
You want me to trade places there? There
Yeah,
you go.
I'm just gonna put some thread on a hook. I'm not gonna tie anything. But back at the Vice in California, on every Wednesday night they have a fly tying get together at one of the local restaurants, and they also run out a Zoom to the members that can't make it. Anyway, let me get a hook here to replace this. And a fellow by the name of Michael Schweit was tying the other night. Good tire, did a really great job on the fly. And then he did something I've never seen before. And I've been thinking about doing it. And I thought, well, maybe tonight's the night to do it. I'm going to put some thread on the hook, and we'll just pretend that what I'm putting on right now, I just finished the fly, and all that black stuff there is a fly that goes all the way to the bend of the hook. Imagine with me, you have to kind of get with the picture. Now, so I want to half hitch this off. What Michael did is he took his scissors and did that. Closed the scissors, pulled it down. I said, Jesus, what a slick deal. And that's the first time I've done it. Let's try it again. Close it, just like having a needle there, slides into place. And it worked just that easy when Michael did it. So first time for me, you're seeing it. So you're the first, what is it, 10 people, 9 people, and me and Gretchen. So that's 11 people that know about it, except for all the people who was watching Michael the other night. But I thought, what a cool deal.
That is cool. I have to try that.
Yeah, I can see where there's some places where you can kind of sneak that in and make it work.
Have you tried to do 2 wraps?
I have not done one wrap until just now.
2 wraps and see what
Oh
happens.
dear. Okay.
See if you can make it more like
There's
a whip finish.
okay, what I want to explain to you about the 1 wrap and 2 wraps, for those of you that don't know, I'm going to use a half hitch tool, place a half hitch, slip it into place, and that's a half hitch. Another one just so you can see, and it just slides right there in place. You can do a whip finish with the same tool by putting 2 turns or more on the tool and sliding it in place. And now if I pull that off under tension like that is right there, see that's kind of coming forward, under tension, it'll be a 2-turn jam knot. But if on the other hand, I tilt this up and let that come off loosely, it becomes a whip finish. And
Now try it with the scissors.
oh, try to avoid that, Gretchen. Okay, let's see the scissors. Okay, this ought to be just a joy. Okay, there's. Oh boy. I'm gonna have to think about this. What do I do if I do it like that? Like that. I can't figure it out, guys. It's going to be one of those things where I'm going to probably have to lay awake some night at 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's how I figure a lot of stuff out at 3 o'clock in the morning, staring at a dark ceiling. I don't know about you all.
If you spun the thread the same way as you try and get it to, when you pull it tight to lay one way or the other, you might be able to get it to stay on the scissors more easily.
Probably. Anyway, maybe one of you can come on our program, which is Fly Tying Friday, some Friday, and show us how to do it. Most of you on here look like you might be younger than we are, so in that case, you probably have a lot more agility than we've got.
Try it by keeping the scissors open.
Okay.
Keep the scissors open, then it'll fit over top of the.
Boy, it's tough to keep it on there for that. It's really tough to get that second wrap. I wonder if I held it with my finger. Nope.
Tilt
Maybe
the scissors down.
Maybe like Roger was saying, spin your bobbin
It's laying exactly the way I want it.
counterclockwise as if you were looking down on it. Spin it counterclockwise as if you were looking down from the top of the hook. And
All
then
right,
try-
okay.
see, then it kind of lays back. Well, that second wrap though,
That second wrap, guys, I'm telling you,
Try it with these scissors. See if it's different.
these are so sharp that if I even look at this, but I'll try it. Well,
No.
let's not,
It's a
let's not
different
tell
profile.
David that. Let's not tell David that.
Yeah, it's a different profile. That's why it worked.
it's
The scissors,
a very
the
different
blade, the angle
profile.
of the blades you're working with, they're more straight.
Yeah, you can see let me hold these two up so you can see what we're talking about. And the blue ones are the regular whisk clips that I was using earlier. They're closer together, different angle, and these are further apart. Makes it a lot more of an area to work with too.
Mhm.
So,
And those are my scissors.
yeah, here. Yeah, she very protective about that. I always tried to ease them over towards my tying bench, and I can see how that didn't work very good, dear. Any other questions and suggestions?
I guess that's it.
I guess that's it for tonight, then, guys. All of